Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to Hooligans United podcast. We're a group of guys who are in a fantasy Premier League together, and we like to talk about soccer or football, whatever it is you prefer to call it. Today we have Nick, Rife, and Matt on, and my name's Myles, and we're going to be diving into some soccer here. Missed last week. We had some busy schedules. Is there anything anyone wanted to touch on last week before we dive into the big Premier League news of today?
Manchester United wise, we had a good game, Europa League. I know no one really cares about Thursday night soccer, but
I got two things from Tuesday and Wednesday night soccer that are.
all right, we'll start with that. That takes
Yeah, let's go.
So Chelsea fan, so I'm going to start there. I just am pretty excited that after a really, really poor start to the Champions League for Chelsea, they had two huge wins against Milan this last week and the week before that put us top of the table. So let's go.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
There you
true.
go.
You guys you're top of the table with 7 points.
Yeah, it's a really tight table.
Real tight table.
And
So
5-5 or something like it.
I saw today
It's
that
tight.
Chelsea's won their last 5 under Graham Potter.
Graham Potter.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they're doing pretty
off to
well.
a great start.
Looking up. And then the other thing is Barcelona.
Oh, I forgot.
Can't not talk about that. Can we?
I
I mean, they're
think
not,
so.
we
Say
can
about
talk about
that.
it.
they're not out yet, but they're gonna be out.
But they're
They are
good.
going to be out.
Yeah, everybody remember when Frankie de Jong didn't want to come to United because he didn't want to play in the Europa League? At least he would have been playing in the Europa League
at
if he
least
was
he would
playing
be
for
playing.
United. Now he's going to be on the bench in the Europa League.
Oof.
Just
Ouch.
saying. Hey, he's
Yeah.
still welcome in January.
Yeah, a lot of tears in the Spotify Camp Nou the past few days here.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, and then all the other teams that were going to go to Chelsea but chose Barcelona over them.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Poor decisions. Poor decisions.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, the writing was on the wall. Like their finances
not.
obviously are not in good shape. So
Yeah, what are they going to do when they don't get the money they assumed they were going to get and we're banking on that? No pun
Same.
intended.
the same thing that they've been doing anyway. Stop playing their players and pay other players somehow. I don't know. How does all of that work?
Stop paying the guy making 60,000 a week and keep paying the guy that earns 400,000 a week instead.
Right.
So there's two
Business.
teams I want to mention, but I don't know anything about them other than what I've seen. But Napoli and Club Bruges.
Oh, yeah.
They've been on tears.
They've
man.
been doing well.
yeah.
Napoli, I mean, they've always been a big
Isn't-
club in Italy.
Isn't Napoli like basically the number one team in Europe right now?
They're undefeated in
Um,
Champions League.
Yeah, and Club Brugge is as well, right? They haven't been, Club Brugge hasn't
Club
been
Brugge
scored
has a
on in
draw.
Champions League yet.
Club
Yeah, but they
Brugge
haven't been scored
had
on
one
yet.
draw. Yeah, so Club Brugge drew Atletico Madrid, but they beat Porto and Bayer Leverkusen.
And with 0 goals against.
Which
It's
is
impressive.
pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
they're doing really well.
Isn't their goalie like insane though?
No idea.
Why couldn't
Club
Barcelona have
Brugge.
been in Group B? Group B is Club Brugge, Porto, Atletico Madrid, and Bayer Leverkusen.
They'd still lose to Club Bruges though.
I think Atletico Madrid was the first one in that group.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so Matt, looking at Group E, Chelsea 7 points, Salzburg 6 points, AC Milan 4 points, Dynamo Zagreb 4 points. So that's still pretty wide open.
Yeah.
So
super
without anyone looking it up, who do you think is the goalkeeper for Club Bruges right now?
What country is he from? That's my one lifeline I'm asking is what country is he from?
Pretty sure Belgium. Right?
No idea.
No clue.
Mignolet.
Really?
All right.
Was that where was Mignolet beforehand? Tottenham?
Arsenal? Tottenham?
Well, we got London, right?
Liverpool. That's
Oh,
what it was.
really? So they got rid of
Liverpool.
Mignolet before Karius and then Karius for Allison?
Pretty sure it was like in between Karius. Or was it before Karius?
Yeah, I think he's before because I think he's pretty old.
Was he a Brendan Rodgers goalie?
Allison looked
I don't
great
remember,
today,
honestly.
but before we get to that, we can continue on. Okay, I think that wraps
Yeah.
everything up from Champions League. Did you guys want to talk about Europa League? I'm sorry to laugh.
Yeah, let's talk about some Thursday night football. Nothing about Manchester
how
United, though, but
Myles laughed
everything about the keeper from Cyprus.
Yes.
That
You
don't
guys
even
were
want to talk about
complimenting
Manchester
the
United.
goalkeeper on the
Dude.
other, who I forgot which team
He
it
was
is.
Ammonia.
Ammonia from
Ammonia.
Cyprus.
Yeah.
Okay,
he
so
was insane.
background for this. He wasn't even going to start. The starting keeper got hurt the day before the game.
Ugh, I love
He's
those
the
stories.
backup keeper, got put in the game, 12 saves. And he only
Jeez.
let one in the 93rd minute.
Third minute.
Yeah,
Such
the
a-
93rd minute, let one in.
Such a bummer for the
Bro.
guy after such a crazy game to let
Yeah.
one in.
Yeah. And like it was a goal that like fell to McTominay inside the 6-yard box. Like no one's gonna save it.
Yeah.
It just fell right in front of him. He just put it in the goal.
And what was the final?
1-0.
1-0.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. Like seeing
Okay.
the faces of the Ammonia team when that goal went in, I honestly, like, as a United fan, was super ecstatic that hey, we were winning this and like we a little bit more stress taken off our shoulders. And then it was just like, oh, but they deserve something. Because they're almost not even a professional team. They're like in between like professional and semi-pro.
Really?
And like, I mean, they're about on the same level.
How did they
as,
make Europa League? They have to be playing somewhere.
I mean, they are. I'm just talking about the level that they played. Like,
Okay.
it's no offense to them at all, but it's like from like English Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two. The one below that is about where they
National?
would be. Yeah,
The
they
National
did about
League?
the National League. Yeah,
Playing
So,
alongside
like,
Wrexham.
like fifth
Yeah,
tier.
yeah. So they've been playing with Wrexham.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be about fifth tier.
Does anyone know how Wrexham did in their FA Cup appearance this weekend?
I-
They were on ESPN.
I
Yes.
actually don't know. I didn't watch it.
I watched it. They tied. So I didn't even know this was still a thing. You always hear about it in the past, them talking about replays, right?
Yeah.
And I thought they stopped doing those and that they were just doing, extra time in PKs, but they're doing a replay. So I think midweek they're going back to Wrexham and playing again.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Sweet. Hopefully it's on
Gotta get that
ESPN
gate
again, 'cause then I'm
revenue.
gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
well,
that'll
let's move
help.
on to today. Big game of the day, Liverpool. I had a ton of fun watching the game, especially the second half.
Yes. What a
was a good
match.
game.
I mean, it reminds me of last season's Liverpool City matches, right? Both of those matches were incredible, back and forth, super open. I'm always nervous when I see big teams play in the Premier League or really anywhere. The games are usually so tight and everybody's nervous and I don't know, it's just cagey, right?
Mhm.
Nobody wants to make a mistake. And I feel like I have that feeling because of United Liverpool games in the past.
Mhm.
And they were just not that fun.
Right.
But these games are just anything but that. They're so
Hectic,
open.
hectic.
hectic, frenetic, so fun.
Back and forth, it was chippy. You could tell both of the guys or both of the teams really cared.
Yeah.
So,
Liverpool, way out of form, actually looked good again.
Mhm.
One big difference from today, from the past 10 games, who was playing it right back?
was it
Interesting.
Gomez playing right back or was he playing center back?
Center back. Milner was
he
playing it right back.
Okay.
Yeah, Milner was playing right back. But Gomez had
He looked good.
Erling Haaland in his pocket, man, the entire game.
Yeah.
I think
And
Haaland
then-
had two shots, three shots, something
yeah,
like
and
that.
they weren't even that great. Like
They
they
really
weren't in like
weren't.
good
They
positions or
I
anything.
think it was two, and they were both headers right at Allison.
Yeah, they were right at
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he had one shot from like outside the box, but it was just like a
It was
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. Like the
Wasn't
goalie
going anywhere.
should save it. It's fine. But yeah, no, hectic
I have
game.
a,
They look
I have a,
good.
I have a question for you guys about this one. I think we all agree Liverpool was way better today than they have been all season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
For sure.
so a little bit of a background. I'm an Ohio State fan, graduate, whatever. Ohio State, Michigan.
We're in the marching
that
band.
game. That's true. That game, no matter who's bad or good that season, you can't really count on it, right? Like that game's going to be a different game just because of that rival, right? The meaning behind it. People play out of their minds or completely differently just because of the situation. Do you think that was the situation for Liverpool today, or are they just getting better? Are they getting back to their last season form?
I think they're getting better.
I think both.
Van Dijk looked kind of back to, well, not I wouldn't say back to his best, but he looked normal again.
I was
like,
going to
not
say
as
Van Dijk
shaky
actually looked
and
good.
conservative. Gomez looked good. Milner brought balance to the back line where he was actually defending pretty well as a team, but also still going forward, helping in the midfield.
Yeah.
Salah didn't always look great, but finished. Should have had two goals.
I'm going to pause you right there. I thought Salah looked good, except for not in, but I guess on his final touch, 2 goal. Like literally he had the 1 goal and he should have had, honestly, he probably should have had a hat trick.
There were 2 other situations where he shot and he just needed to square the ball to Jota, and Jota had like a tap in both times. And I just like shouted at the TV, like, do it, cross it.
Okay.
Totally
Now, the thing I was very upset about, not just because Jota is my player on my team, but because of the fact Nunez literally is an idiot and selfish. He could have easily made it 2 or 3-0 in the last like 10 minutes. What is he doing? Literally, he has 2 players open in the middle of the box.
Yeah.
And there's one defender.
Out and out number 9. He is going for goal.
I'm sorry, but like,
that's terrible. Who wants that?
That's a stupid thing.
You've got open players on your team who have a tap in. Give them the ball.
Give him the
I'm so happy
ball.
He's on Liverpool's team.
Oh my God, I'm so glad he did not. Dude,
Matt, I wanted to get
that
a
was
chance
so frustrating.
to answer your question as well there. So
Yeah.
I'm going back and forth on it as well. Watching the game, I got the feeling that it was just a big game and they were playing to the occasion. I really hope that's not the case, but that was kind of the feeling that I got. You guys are making some good points though. Some of the players were just playing better. They just looked better. I would have liked to see Mo Salah's finishing, get back to the clinical finishing that we know him for, and we didn't see that. I do think I say this, I feel like every podcast, but you know, Liverpool's taking the year off. I keep saying this. But for this game, you know, there's something that they can get excited about. There's something they can get fired up for. And 2 or 3 years ago, they played like this every game because they had to prove themselves every game. They were, you know, they were able to get this fired up and play on this level every game because they were playing for something. They were playing to get in the top 4. They were playing to prove that Liverpool was back. They were playing, you know, for something. And you know, you see when they have something on the line like today, they rise to the occasion and they play. And you know, next week they're probably going to play, you know, Nottingham Forest or something and be back to like struggling against mid-table teams.
West Ham. Yep.
Okay.
Play West Ham next week.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
So that was
I wouldn't be surprised either way, honestly. You know, I could see them finally saying like, all right, what are we doing? We're all collectively better than this. We, you know, get some players back, change out the lineup a little bit, everything changes. Or yeah, could just be big game. Let's prove ourselves. Here we go. They've kind of lost maybe for other stuff.
But also next game, they don't have Klopp on the sideline.
And they don't have Jota.
Yeah, that doesn't matter as much. Klopp got a red card.
What happened to Yoda?
It looked like he. I'm looking at it. I'm trying to find it right now, but it looked like he like. I want to say he like hyperextended his knee.
Okay.
No,
Was
I
that
don't
like in
know
the
what
last
happened.
minute or something?
it was in the last minute. He didn't even get touched. He like passed the ball, and like he got stretchered off
It was one of those that looked
Dang.
really serious just
Yeah.
because
Like,
he wasn't
just
touched and-
because he not
Oh,
touched.
okay.
Because
So that's why it was +5, but they went a full 10 minutes over.
Mhm.
correct.
Yeah, because I was
Okay.
telling
That
everyone
and the
I was
red
like,
card.
he must actually be hurt because he could have just stood up and limped around for 30 seconds and they would have called the game and they would have won. So
Right.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
Or
make
he
sense
was
to play for
really
that long.
milking that time wasting there at the end. Really
but
milked it.
they wound up playing an extra like 6 minutes on top of their extra 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
this is-
There's
true.
definitely a time limit to how long you can lay on the ground and milk that time, actually milk that time out of the game. Right. If you're there for too long, the ref's definitely going to take note of it and add it on. But if you're
Yeah.
there for just the right amount of time, then they won't.
That's
Yeah.
So it was too long. It was a real injury.
Yeah.
because it was too
Yeah,
long.
he's probably hurt.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Oh,
this
well.
is a direct quote from Klopp. He said, the next one with Diogo, he had a real pain in that moment. No idea how bad it is. If Diego stays down, it's not good. So
Yeah. I mean, I really feel for the guys. Him, and Reece James. The big
and
injury.
Rick Carlson, he might be
Oh,
out too.
Richarlison.
oh
Oh,
yeah, he
yeah.
might be out for a while. He cried.
Yeah, well, World Cup, right? That's what hits you the second that happens. Right now,
Yep.
is, I'm done. I don't get to play. Ugh.
Yeah. Especially how competitive the Brazil team is.
No kidding.
He had to be on all cylinders firing for the next couple months. He was.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
if he sits out for 2 weeks, he's out of the contention.
There was
He'll
this
go
cool
with somebody
graphic
else.
that I saw on one of the social medias that showed Brazil's first team versus Argentina's first team, Brazil's second team versus Argentina's second team, Brazil's third team versus Argentina's third team, like all the way down. And it's like these guys' third teams are like better than good chunks of the rest of the world's first teams. You know, it's like how like this
That's
is the guy they
stupid.
have in the third spot. You know, like it's insane.
It's stupid.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a South American winner this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Love
Okay,
And it's like
so-
I'd love for Argentina to go that far, but they're also so corrupt. And like Messi actually hates playing for them so much. Like I actually don't want them to win.
I want them to win just for Messi.
Just for Messi, that's it.
Just for Messi.
But does Messi want them to win? Because
I
he's
think
quit
he-
once already.
I think Messi.
I'm gonna
wants
say
them to
yes.
win.
Yeah.
All right, fair.
I think Messi wants them to win, and then he could retire and never play for them again.
And never step foot in Argentina again.
Okay, we have a few more things to wrap up in the Premier League. Newcastle competing for a European spot.
Yeah.
Is this Rife or Nick?
Yeah,
Well,
I put that one in
go
there.
for it.
Like, I mean, they look good this year. Like, I honestly, I knew eventually they were going to look good with the whole that whoever bought them,
big money
them
takeover.
being the richest
Saudi
club in
Arabia.
the world now. Exactly, yeah. Them buying the team, them having a whole bunch of money, being able to basically buy whoever they want within financial fair play rules and all that, whatever. Then they brought in Eddie Howe as kind of like a stopgap. All right, let this guy get everything up and rolling before we get a superstar in to manage the team. And they basically just come in and like, instead of him being a stopgap, they're hitting the ground running and they're already competing with the best teams in England. Like, and not just, oh, we're going to go out here and we're just going to like try and nick a goal every once in a while. No, like they've only been scored on more than once, 2 times this season against Liverpool and City. I think they lost to Liverpool in like the 98th minute or something. And they tied City 3-3. And everyone knows how good City is.
That's impressive.
They have a
Yeah.
goal differential of +8.
Yeah.
17
And they've
goals
already
to
played Manchester United, Liverpool, Manchester City. Yeah, so
And they're in sixth place.
3 of the big 6, and they're in 6th place.
one. They're playing Everton
Like-
this week.
I think they'll.
I think they have a chance. And
Yeah.
I think
Against
they'll
it-
open up. I think
Again-
they'll open them up.
maybe. And against United this week, they were missing St. Maximin
Isaac.
and Isaac. So two of their like first team starters and still tied Manchester United 0-0, which we can get in that in a little bit. It shouldn't have been 0-0, but
Yeah. That was a
yeah,
little
that's
ridiculous.
yeah, Newcastle's one to watch this year. As much as I hate to say it with that whole financial takeover.
I think
It's happening sooner than I
probably
wanted it to.
stay right around
Right.
5th or 6th, because I don't see them passing United, Chelsea, or Tottenham, but I could see them staying 6th. Maybe they, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. Those like if they get a Europa spot, they're in a
Is 6th
European
Europa spot or is it
competition.
a conference spot?
Europa.
Sixth is
Fifth and
Europa.
sixth is Europa, seventh is conference.
7th is conference. Okay.
But I think sixth is like they have to do the whole
They have to do like a
Europa
playoff.
playoff
okay, they have to
games
play in.
and stuff. And
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Well,
So yeah, it's
all right.
they look good.
You guys want to talk about that United game?
I mean, there's not too much to talk about, to be honest, except for
There's
the fact
quite a
that
bit.
I don't know. I mean,
It's not really
Matt,
about the
we'll get
United
to
team
Chelsea
itself.
after. Matt, we'll get to
Yeah,
Chelsea.
it's not the United
after
team
these
itself.
guys are done with you.
It's basically just an accumulation of referee mistakes the whole season, not Manchester United specifically, but the league itself. There should have been 3 penalty kicks in the game, and 1 goal was taken away unfairly because the ref wasn't paying attention. First penalty kick should have been given to Newcastle when Varane took down Joelinton in the box.
yeah, Joelinton at the top
Yeah.
of the box.
Yeah, took him down, like completely, blatantly just tripped him.
And it's really funny too because the commentator's like, "Oh no, definitely not a penalty,"
Yeah, and they show the
Definitely
replay
not-
and he just
definitely not a
takes his
pen.
legs out.
and it's like
Obvious penalty. Not, I think it was in the second half then.
Right at the
Maybe he
beginning.
slipped
Comes
like
over and
Fabinho
takes
during
out.
the Liverpool game today.
What happened?
What?
Maybe he slipped like Fabinho during the Liverpool game today. Did you guys see that slip?
Oh yeah, just straight through him.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was-
Thiago? Oh, you mean Thiago?
Oh, was it Thiago? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like running full speed, trying to stop
Yes,
and just.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Oh, that was funny. He
Yeah,
like
if that-
immediately got up. He immediately got up. Was like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. No, and yeah, yellow card is fine. Yellow card is fine. I did not mean to do that."
Yeah.
No, yeah. And the next one for United against Newcastle, Trippier took out Ronaldo in the box as Ronaldo's about to take a shot, just ran out and took Ronaldo's legs out. Of course, Ronaldo protests, and the refs just like, get up. They go to VAR, nothing. No, nothing at all. And then a few minutes later, Sancho gets kicked, like blatantly kicked in the legs. Of course, he's gonna like act it out a little bit more, but kicked, tripped over in the box, still ref just like, no. Goes to VAR, they say no as well. So 2 PKs that were taken away from United, 1 from Newcastle, and then Ronaldo notices that Newcastle is pulling a time-wasting free kick move where the ref was calling for the play to start going. I don't know which defender it was, but he looks over at Pope, passes him the ball like, here, you can take the free kick.
It was like a
But
little like
it'd been
dink.
placed already. Yeah, they already placed the free kick, passed it. Time's going. Pope went over there, acted like he was just gonna like start thinking for a bit. Ball's in play. Ronaldo walks up to him, takes the ball, kicks it in the goal. Ref gives Ronaldo a yellow card and says, "No, ball wasn't in play yet," because the ref didn't see it happen, but VAR VAR didn't intervene. So yeah, those are the big talking points of the game, basically, because it was 0-0. It's just an accumulation of this year has not been good for refs or VAR.
Yeah, VAR has
It's
been
been
hot
bad.
garbage across the entire league. Like not even just like Man U or Newcastle or whatever. It's like the entire league. It's like they either can't figure out what a foul is, or they think something is a foul, and it was like, no, that's not what that is. I don't know what you guys are doing. It's so
I think-
frustrating.
I think each of us can probably think of a situation for our team where that has happened this season. I certainly
Good
can.
or bad. Good or
Yeah,
bad.
exactly.
It was like,
Yeah.
yeah. What was it last week? The same thing happened, I think, with
Or
Palace, West Ham. There were some goals that happened that shouldn't have happened. There were handballs that happened that shouldn't have been, either should have been called or didn't, or got called handballs that shouldn't have. And just last weekend was almost just as bad for like multiple
Wasn't
teams.
it like last weekend or 2 weeks ago where they took a goal away and it shouldn't have been taken away or something? It was something absolutely bonkers. It was like a free kick. I don't know what it was, but all I know is that it was.
Yeah, and then you can also go
call.
back to the international break too, where there was a goal for, I forgot whichever team it was, they got called off sides, but that's because VAR forgot to look at one of the guys that was standing by the corner flag, who was standing on the end line, keeping everybody on. But VAR called the guy offsides in the box because they forgot to see that guy. Like it's been bad.
So I have a question for you guys about this game. The only highlight from this game that I saw was Ronaldo coming off the field, and he was pissed. And I didn't know what he was pissed about. I don't know if he was angry at VAR or if he was angry at the Ten Hag for taking him off, but
Probably
that's
both.
what I assumed. But do you guys know what was up with that?
He got subbed off because I mean, last 20 minutes of the game, you know that Man United's gonna start putting cross after cross into the box, and that's when he thrives. But Ten Hag came out after the game and said that he subbed him off, talked to him about it, because they have another 4 games in the next 9 days, and they have to
keep everyone fresh.
Yeah, keep everyone fresh. They have to just cycle players. We only made 1 substitution today, which is weird, but I have a feeling that so they just played everyone.
Gotta cycle everyone.
Ronaldo, get off.
Just you are getting cycled.
Yeah, that was the part that was weird. But the next game, we'll see who plays then, and then who plays against Chelsea, and then who plays against whoever play after Chelsea. And he's going to have to start rotating a lot. With the amount of injuries that we have too.
We've got like a literal cluster of like ridiculous matches in a row.
We had 5 youth players on our bench. I think 4 of those 5 hadn't even seen the field yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, on to Chelsea. I've done with my rant.
Man, any comments on Chelsea?
You've got nothing.
Oh yeah. I got some things to say about Chelsea. Of course I do. Thought you were gonna jump in there, Myles. So I honestly wasn't super impressed with Chelsea this weekend. Yeah, we got the result 2-0. It's huge. Just to get another win for Potter, another win for the team. But I don't know. I felt like Aston Villa isn't a very good team, and that Chelsea should have kind of just been bossing them around the pitch. And it didn't feel that way. Aston Villa had a ton of control of the ball, had a ton of chances, and Chelsea's 2 goals were both kind of fluky. Mount played really well to capitalize on those opportunities, but the first one was just a missed clearance out of the box that landed right in front of his feet, and he just managed to put in. And then the second one was a free kick that wasn't even that good, and the Villa's keeper just jumped right, and the ball went to his left. It was like, okay, well, cool. Super happy that both of them went in, but they weren't good goals. So I don't know. Maybe that's what Chelsea needs, though, to get back on the finishing train. That's been their biggest issue for a while now, is they've had great possession, great buildup, and they just can't make that final chance happen. So maybe they just need to get a few goals in, and that'll start the roll.
Could be. You said they played Villa today, right?
Yeah. Yes. Today. Yep.
Yeah, today. Yeah. So I mean, they could have just not looked great. Or I mean, do you think Villa might be finally starting to hit some form? Like, could Villa have actually played decently well today? The Gerrard's finally started to get them clicking a little bit. Yeah,
I'd believe it. Yeah, it's always hard to tell, right? If one team's playing badly or another team's playing better than you'd expect them to.
Yeah. In terms of that question that you asked earlier, it was is Liverpool playing against City because it was a rivalry game, or because they're starting to play well. Did Chelsea look bad against Aston Villa because they had a bad game, or did Villa just come to play?
Right. And I think Chelsea spent a lot of their energy midweek against, in the Champions League. I think
that's fair. Yeah,
we all know that Chelsea put the Champions League on a higher tier than the Premier League, and have for, ever since Abramovich came in. I don't think that's changed since he's left. So,
yeah, Champions League's pretty important. There's a lot of money in that.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Chelsea played AC Milan, beat them 2-0 this past week.
Right. And 3-0.
That's right. Yeah. And Milan's doing well too. You guys remember when the Serie A used to be like the best league in the world, like 10 years ago?
I feel like it was a lot longer than that. I feel like it was,
I think it was
20 years ago.
10 years ago.
I'm sorry, I forget that I'm almost 30. I'll split the difference and say 15 years ago.
I'm pretty sure it was like the 90s.
Yeah, back when Ronaldinho played for AC Milan and Kaká was there and Robinho and Ambrosini.
You could also say it was the 80s with Maradona.
True. When he played for Napoli. When you brought up Napoli earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like Juventus and Inter Milan, Napoli, AC Milan, but all of them used to be like powerhouses. I know it's like they seem like powerhouses, and then they play against Chelsea, who's not even really in that great form, and they're 5-0 in 2 games.
But then we talked about Napoli, and they're top of Serie A right now, and top of their group. So
that's true. They are
maybe making a comeback.
I hope so. I really like Serie A.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna jump into Arsenal a little bit, and then that'll segue perfectly into our next topic. But the Arsenal game today, I don't have a whole lot to say about it. The black jerseys with the gold crest look dope.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Let's see. There was one thing that I wanted to say. And it was I have a hard time pulling against Leeds. I've discovered that today. I was pulling for Arsenal. Wanted Arsenal to win, but Jesse Marsh is over there. He's frustrated, and Aronson. It's so cool to see American players doing well in the Premier League, and
for sure.
I just had a really hard time saying yeah, you guys got to bite the bullet for Arsenal this week, but next week I'm a fan again. And I mean it worked out because Arsenal won, City lost. Arsenal's 4 points, top of the table now, and Leeds is exactly where they were before, which is 13th, 14th. So
yeah, about right.
So
yeah, our Arsenal being 4 points clear is just it's a hard pill to swallow. I still don't think they can do it. But
I don't think that's a stretch to say that you don't think Arsenal can do it. I think Arsenal's goal should still be top 4.
Definitely.
That feels right.
Because was it last year that around this time that Manchester United was in first place?
And then they looked like garbage. But
maybe it was 2 years ago. But still, yeah, it was after 10 or 11 games, we were in first place. We're going to win the league. And then Ellie got fired.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's
Chelsea was in first place at this point last season, and then
crapped
that in December and did the same thing. Arsenal, though, I feel like Leeds had a penalty in this one, right? And missed it. Bamford missed it in the 65th or something like that.
Another mistake by Gabriel. Just saying.
Sure, yeah.
I thought that was Salah that got the handball.
These kinds of games, the games that
Gabriel.
that you don't play very well, right? It's pretty tight, and maybe the other team has a chance to win, but you still manage to win it. Those are the games that you have to win to be able to win the league, right? So that's a good look, but 28 games left. I don't see it.
Yeah, there's a lot to play. Arsenal's benefiting from 2 things right now. I think they're benefiting from a schedule where their hard games are spaced out. They rarely play 2 top 6, top 8 teams back to back. Most of the time, you know,
Yeah,
they play. They'll play Chelsea, and then they'll play Brentford, and then they'll play Spurs, and then they'll play Aston Villa, something like that. And
before we
so-
get too hasty with that, Brentford can beat anybody 4-0 on their day. Just saying.
That's true.
Brentford is awesome.
Yeah,
Brentford is pretty great.
the money ball
As
of
a-
the money ball of the Premier League.
Yeah. As a United fan with one tear in my eye, just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
the other
just-
thing that they're benefiting from is they don't have to worry about your European competition as much. You know,
Mhm.
they're unlike Chelsea, they don't seem to be prioritizing their European games and
Still winning them.
and they're still winning them, yeah, but I mean, you make so much less money in the Europa League anyway that
Yeah, it's
um
almost
Yeah.
not worth it.
And they also seem to have less of a chance of getting kicked out of the top four. So they're not as worried about like, oh, we have to win Europa.
mhm.
Unlike United, who's like, we have to get one or the other. We can't get both.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. I think that's about all I have to say. Rife, you put Steve Cooper, Nottingham Forest contract extension.
Yeah, that one wasn't me actually.
I put that. Yeah, I'm just curious what
sorry,
people think.
sorry.
So Steve Cooper got that contract extension right after losing terribly. Well, many times in a row, but another, bad loss. I just curious what everybody thinks. Is that crazy or is it smart?
I mean, it just kind of depends. I mean, if he's saying all the right things and doing all the right things for the people that are giving him the contract extension, they gave him 20 new players this year.
Right.
Yeah, maybe they're just
And they're in what? Like,
hoping that he does well with them. He earned them a lot of money by getting them all promoted for what, the first time in how long?
a very long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe even if they're not doing well in the Premier League, they're sort of like, nah, we're still happy. If we get knocked back down, just get us back up.
They're in
Like-
20th in the table, Nick.
Yeah, they're dead last.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
I mean, they're one of the teams that was predicted to be the up and then straight back down.
Yeah.
Especially with all the changing players.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'd agree with you, Rife. I asked that question. I already had an opinion, of course, but I think it's really smart. I mean, I love to see a team that's not being so knee jerk about, a run of bad form.
Bournemouth.
They know what their expectations are. Yeah. And
Chelsea.
yeah, exactly. They know what their expectations are. They know that things aren't going to go that well with 20 new players, first time in the Premier League in who knows, in a long time. We've established we don't know how long. Yeah, I think it's awesome that they're saying, no, we don't care about this bad run of form. We believe in our guy. Let's go. We're going to get there.
Yeah. And I really like that. Kind of goes back to like how we've all watched Ted Lasso before, he gets promoted to season 2. If he gets relegated to season 3, they're not going to fire the guy. They just know that they're going to be an up and down club the rest of their careers.
Wouldn't that be funny? A 3-season show and they get relegated next season. Like, wait a minute.
It would be hilarious.
That's the
It would
end.
be accurate though. It would be like, okay, well, accurate portrayal of English soccer.
It would
Yeah.
be.
Who wants accuracy in there?
Yeah, they basically just like, well, we got relegated again, guys. All right, work starts
Maybe
tomorrow.
maybe Nottingham Forest could get Banter as their jersey sponsor. Does
I like
anyone
that.
know
Since they don't
why?
have one yet.
Does anyone know why
So the
they
why-
don't have one?
I will look it up.
Who?
I feel
No.
like all the
Nottingham?
teams down to like Wrexham has like 5 jersey sponsors, and Nottingham Forest can't get one.
Well, Wrexham,
Yeah, give me
there's the
second.
difference there.
So the last time that Nottingham Forest was in the Premier League was 1998-1999 season.
Wow. 23 years, 24 years.
23 years.
All right. So Nottingham
Perfect.
Forest had a
power.
deal with a sponsorship from last year. the end of their contract happened before the season started, and they could not agree with another company for a new sponsorship. So they just started the season without one.
Wow.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, if they don't have a sponsor, that means there's a whole lot less money coming into the club. Do you think that might be why? Yes, they brought in 20 players, but do you think that might be the reason why they had to bring in 20 players? Maybe they sold a bunch of them. Maybe did they make less money
Well, they had
by
17
bringing in
players
these
leave.
players?
But how
They
long
had
can it
17
take to
players leave. They
sign?
didn't sell many. It was a lot of like 1-year contracts and loan moves that all left.
Right.
But how long can it take to sign a new sponsor? I feel like that's like a pretty straightforward. Like it's been 10
Yeah.
weeks since the season
And
started.
it seems like a very high priority thing, right? I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah. I
Make
mean,
a
you do
lot
get
of
a lot
money.
of
yeah,
you do get a lot of money from joining the Premier League.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
It's not enough to stay relevant.
based on
in the
this
Premier League.
based on this article, it really just sounds like they just haven't had an agreement with a sponsor yet. Like there could be like not many coming to them to sponsor them, and they just can't decide on a fee. But there also could be like multiple companies trying to sponsor them, and they haven't decided which one yet, and they're still just like, well, we're trying to get out of 20th place first.
I could see them saying, we're in the Premier League now. We deserve this certain amount of money for our shirt sponsor, and all the potential sponsors saying, yeah, but you're going to be back in the championship next year. So
why would we sponsor you? Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Because you
Yeah.
said they hadn't been since 1999.
Yep.
Yeah,
1998,
so they could
99
like
season.
yeah. So honestly, that could actually be a really good point.
Yeah.
Hey, we're in the Premier League. Give us this much, but you won't be.
right.
We're not going to give you that much, and it's
Yeah.
just back and forth, back and forth.
Can't agree. Right. Yep.
Hmm.
Maybe they could get Poundland. Okay.
Uh,
Anything outside of do we want to touch on Barcelona sucking, or do we just leave it at Barcelona suck and we
Barcelona suck.
Barcelona
think-
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
It's
saying we bring it
sad-
over to the weekly the weekly WSL roundup.
Yeah. For sure. We can go there.
Let's
So-
do it.
So decent week in the WSL. There weren't too many big games. A lot of big fish playing little fish this week. Tottenham had a good win over Liverpool. Arsenal had a really cagey, not great win over Reading, but kept their win streak going. To stay at near the top of the table. Man City smashed Leicester. Chelsea had a really good game against Everton. I think the big news out of the weekend is that Man United won 4-0 over Brighton to go to the top of the table on goal differential. So that's a big change. United's been
Go on,
kind of
United.
fighting for like third place the last few seasons. So maybe this is their year to push in and get a Champions League spot.
Hey, United's getting a title this year. Just saying, it's not the men's team.
I'm not so
One of
sure.
them is.
I'm not so sure about that there, Rife, but you can hope.
I can dream. I can hope, man.
The other big news in women's soccer is that the NWSL playoffs just started today with quarterfinals. Kansas City won away at Houston, set an attendance record for the playoffs for the NWSL, and then also the winning goal in that one. It was a 2-1 victory. The winning goal for that one came in the 100th minute but in regulation time, not in extra time. So 90th plus 10.
It's a lot of extra time.
So records for both attendance and for the latest goal ever in NWSL, whether playoffs or regular season.
That's nuts.
Yeah, and as we are recording, the Chicago Red Stars are playing the San Diego Wave, so we'll see how that one turns out.
What channel are those on?
They are on Paramount
Streaming.
Plus.
I have that.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, now St. Louis is getting an MLS team next year. Now we just need to get another women's team. We had one for a bit.
Let's be honest here. If we struggled to just get a MLS team in St. Louis, the likelihood of us getting a women's professional soccer team
We had
is
one.
like, I understand that, but the likelihood of us getting another one in a short amount of time is very unlikely.
50-50.
50-50.
It either happens or it doesn't.
I love it. Yeah.
I do think that you guys are building in St. Louis there a soccer specific stadium, and a lot of times the NWSL is more interested in expanding into areas where there are soccer specific stadiums. So that's something that will help the cause. It's great that we have these soccer specific stadiums all over the country now. So
and I see the league growing. I mean, I think this is true for both the WSL in England and the WSL in the US. Both have 12 teams currently, and they're going to get bigger, right? We're seeing attendance records over and over again. I mean, in the last few weeks, I feel like I've mentioned multiple attendance records in both
the
countries.
San Diego Wave are getting 30 and 40,000 people every game.
Right, exactly. And in the continental championships over the summer, the African Women's Cup and the European Championship and the South American Championship, all of those had huge stadium records as well. So yeah, I would not be surprised if those leagues start to expand rapidly very soon.
Yeah. Something while we're on the topic of NWSL, something I just wanted to touch on briefly. It's something we've talked about in the chat before, but I wanted to bring it onto the pod. Portland Timbers and Portland Thorns owner Merritt Paulson. I just want to put it out there publicly, like my personal call to him to sell the teams and like give us our teams back. We're in a rough spot right now. Obviously, he was, head of a culture that was covering up a lot of misconduct, looking the other direction for a period of 8 years here on a lot of gross misconduct on the part of the Thorns coach and harassment and other just pretty terrible conduct there. So, I'm with a ton of Timbers and Thorns fans, really hopeful that this is a off season in which we get new ownership and kind of a fresh start. Hope to get back to good times in Portland. A lot of people, including myself, are kind of like, I mean, you want to pull for the players and the coaches and everything. But as on the Timber side of things, it's like, okay, yeah, they're not in the playoffs. I don't really even care at this point, which is terrible to say.
Yeah, he's still he stepped down as CEO, but is still the owner. Is that correct?
Yes, and he has not indicated as to what he's going to do. A lot of the big sponsors are not exactly pulling out of the team, but they've made it clear they're redirecting sponsorship money to other places. The big one is Alaska Airlines. Alaska Airlines has said they're redirecting their sponsorship money into Portland community endeavors. But when all the news first came out, he didn't really do anything, and then there was more pressure on him, and he got rid of the coaches and some of the front office staff, the people who were there, but he's remained the CEO. There was more pressure on him. He stepped down as CEO, so hopefully continued pressure.
Nice. Yeah.
I don't see them selling a lot of season tickets or having very high attendance if he remains. And they're in terms of sponsors, I don't see Alaska Air staying on the shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You love to see the fans taking a stand and people actually listening. So I hope I'm with you. I hope he steps down and sells.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I
you.
mean, just time for a fresh start there. So,
Definitely.
should we spin this though into national team drama from one drama to another?
Yeah. Yeah, different kinds of drama. So
Some
All
more
the
serious,
drama.
some more serious than others.
yeah. I'll the first thing I wanted to bring up, so I noticed that we're all American, but England, I know there's a lot of controversy going around with Southgate. Nick, you have some very strong opinions about England and Southgate as well, but he might have some really, really hard decisions made for him with the most prominent position in all of English football right now. Over half of their players are hurt and might be hurt through the World Cup. Kyle Walker, Reece James, Trent Alexander-Arnold, all right backs, all hurt. What do they do? What's going to happen now?
There's a question for
I'll
Nick.
be honest. I'll be honest.
It's a question for Nick.
I mean, I'm talking. I mean, here's the thing: is that I think if he doesn't start Ben White, he's literally the dumbest person on earth. For
Yeah.
one. Second thing, why isn't he playing Phil Foden? I know that's the right back position, but like, why isn't he playing Phil Foden forward? I don't quite understand. Midfield? I don't know. Why is he not playing him?
Grealish and Sterling and
Are you kidding me?
Saka.
How many goals? How
and-
many goals does Phil Foden have compared to Jack Grealish or Sterling or?
I'm just telling you who he's choosing instead, man.
Phil Foden looks like probably the best English player in like right now. He looks like the best English player.
I know, and in his club team he plays over Jack Grealish, and for England, Jack Grealish plays over Foden. I don't get it either.
All I've got to say is that if Tuchel really does live up to his words and does take over England, and if it's before the World Cup, I'm going to laugh hysterically. It won't happen.
Yeah, not before the World Cup. They don't have games before now.
No, I know. That's my hope, but I know it won't happen. But I can guarantee you this: if Southgate does not win or get at least out of the group stage, he's out. The bare minimum. Actually,
even if he gets out of the group stage, if they play like crap, everyone's still gonna want him gone. Yeah. Because he's going against Wales, the USA, and Iran. Yeah, we're all American fans, and we know that we can be good on our day, and we want us to do well. But if they play like crap against us, or lose or draw, and then like barely make it out of the group in that group, they're still gonna want him fired.
That's true. They need to. They need to smash everyone in that group, go through top.
Yeah,
and then people will be like, "Oh, okay, maybe."
And the sad part too is that the only reason why he has any credibility right now is because he took him to a not win, but a finalist in the Europas. That was the only reason why, or Euros, not Europas, Euros. That was the only reason why he has any credibility right now.
And made the decision to sub in Sancho and Rashford and Saka. I think all three of them were subs in the final like extra time,
and then
to take penalties on purpose, and those were the three that missed.
Mm-hmm. He put it all on young kids, not veterans. I'm sorry, but that's just another mind-boggling thing.
One of you guys just suggested, or not suggested, but mentioned the USA beating England. If the USA beats England in World Cup group stage, it'll be one of my favorite soccer days.
Because it's also on Black Friday.
Yeah, it is also on Black Friday. But here's the thing too, is that in that game, it's going to be the battle of the dimwits. Let's put it that way. Both the US coach and the England coach are just
Berhalter Southgate. I know soccer, you know football. Let's kick them all together.
No, Berhalter's really smart. He plays a false nine. You have to really understand football in order to play a false nine.
Okay, Nate.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's use your false nine system, Nate. Why don't you just F off to West Ham already?
Oh.
For anybody listening to this, that's a Ted Lasso joke. Watch it, and then you'll understand.
Dude, I don't understand either one of the coaches'
Yeah,
decisions.
but that's also a good like rollover right into the other controversy. Not really controversy, but Tim Ream had a really good game yesterday. Like,
Thanks
I don't
for
know if
bringing that
any
up,
of you guys
Alex.
have seen like the stats from him yesterday, but like his passing percentage was incredible. Didn't get dribbled past once. Won 100% of his aerial duels, and just like bossed the defense. Yeah, they tied 2-2 to Bournemouth, but just had a worldy of a game as a center back. Looked great.
Again, sent for one, St. Louis boy. 2,
Yeah, I'm a
he
little
should
biased.
be starting. He should be starting for the U.S. and he will not even play. I guarantee it. I don't even know if he'll make the roster.
Probably not.
Ridiculous.
He'll take Long, and Long will lose the ball. Long.
Yeah, it's an
time.
interesting. I mean, it's not a dilemma, but it's an interesting situation with Tim Ream. I would imagine that you have to just chalk it up to something doesn't click with him and Berhalter. It might not be even, there might not even be any animosity there. It's just a matter of, he's not in Berhalter's 22, and
which is
weird.
mind-boggling because he's better than just about every one of those defenders he has.
Yeah,
that's the thing that kills me.
And he's left-footed. And you put him on the left center back side, like that's balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to bring up.
I think he just wants to keep us all on our toes, make us. I mean, so I do think that Long gets more crap than he deserves. I think that he keeps getting selected for games, and he goes out and plays to the best of his ability in these games. And what do you want the guy to do? Say, oh, no, thank you. I don't want to play. I mean, if he keeps getting selected for games, he's going to keep playing in them.
I just want him to work on his first touch.
Right. But I think, Berhalter's probably the guy to blame when it comes to.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. I'm not saying anything about Long. I'm
blaming him completely.
But
I'm blaming.
You go on Twitter and people are just thrashing Long, and it's like, well, I mean, he looks like he's not like giving up on plays. He's stepping two guys when they're on the ball, but
no, it's not the same animosity that I have like towards Maguire, where like he goes out there and doesn't even seem like he tries half the time, but he looks okay. He is trying, but his sprint is like watching it in slow-mo. Long is out there actually like trying his hardest, doing everything he's asked to, and going full tilt 100% the whole time. His problem is just once someone gives him the ball.
Yeah, we don't care about effort, Myles. We want people to be amazing. Right. No matter how hard they try.
We
and
want.
So we'll go on
want
Twitter
at least.
and we'll just wreck his life on Twitter for it.
If we wanted to go back about 20, 30 years, we put Long at the stopper position and just said, all right, kick the crap out of everybody. Put Zimmer as a sweeper. I mean, Zimmerman, not Zwimmer. Zimmerman as a sweeper. You know what? Long would look fantastic. Just let him kick the crap out of everyone for 90 minutes. He would look great.
Absolutely.
But we don't play that.
All I'm saying is that if we can just have a coach who has an IQ above 100, I think we'll be okay. That's all I'm asking for.
Yep.
And it's not even that much.
Yep. This is a shout for Pep. A shout it from Mount Everest.
God, if we got Pep Guardiola, that'd be ridiculous.
Our next US question. Are you guys going to buy Pulisic's book?
No.
He has a book?
Does he play?
It's a big deal. He's got a book coming out before the World Cup. It's called His Story or My Story This Far.
Will I get it from the library? Maybe. Will I spend
Has he been writing it while he's on the bench?
Not.
Like, yes. While he's sitting right bench, he's just over there just like taking notes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As a Chelsea fan, I love that he's Captain America and all that. Like, I hope he does really well for the US, but I'm getting pretty tired of him sitting on the bench just yapping.
Yeah.
Bunch, right? And I
He should have
this-
got in the summer.
this book, I am worried is gonna just have, I don't know. I think it's gonna make me like him even less.
Yeah,
New
that's
York
that's
Times
the problem is, like,
bestseller.
that's the problem is that the more I hear about Pulisic outside of soccer, it's like the less.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't dislike him. Pulisic's the captain. I'm happy to have him.
Exactly.
But it's like, please just stop doing
Yes.
things that make me annoyed with you.
Exactly. Please just play really well. We love that. That's all we want.
Yeah.
Also,
Play
okay,
well, stop getting hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yes.
it is, but it's like a 50-50 shot with American players when they play in the Premier League. They either look really good or they look like garbage. And right now, Pulisic looks like garbage. Yes, he scored a goal. I understand that. But I don't know if it's like the money and like the prestige of playing for a big club like Chelsea. Like maybe if he played for like Fulham or, I don't know, Bournemouth or something, maybe he'd be playing better, right?
Do you guys want to hear the? Do you guys?
He
do you
was
guys wanna
already at
hear
Dortmund.
The description.
Yes.
Yes, let's hear it.
America's first true European soccer champion and the captain of the U.S. men's national team relates his journey from Hershey, Pennsylvania to the pinnacle of world soccer.
There you go.
From chocolate to vodka. Hershey to pinnacle.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out.
Drop mic.
All right.
Drop
see you guys next week.
computer.
On that note.